Hours after the murder of a teacher in Arras, we went to a high school in the Paris suburbs, where students were just learning about the tragedy. Most of them denounced it as an act of terrorism.
It's really unfortunate to see this. I don't have the words. It shouldn't even be happening. It's just sad.
But some of the pupils we interviewed spoke in ambiguous terms and were critical about the teaching staff.
When you talk about Islam, it leads to conflict because teachers like to rewrite history and make snide remarks.
There are teachers who are really bad at their jobs, who talk poorly to students, and it angers people.
A French study published last March shows 21% of teachers, 1 in 5, have been threatened or attacked for reasons relating to religion or identity. 39% of them work in priority education areas. That's the case for this history and geography teacher. She agreed to speak to us anonymously over fears about how her students would react. She's been teaching in the east of France for 10 years.
This was the case with one of my students. I had to play music in class and they covered their ears. I'd been working on cartoons, and at one point there was one about Jews from the 1930s. And as I was leaving the class, my colleague heard them say, "I'm sure this teacher is Jewish, so I'm going to give her a hard time all year." In the middle of class, the student got down on the floor and started praying. I was scared.
The teacher says that certain issues are difficult, even impossible, to talk about in some classes.
There's self-censorship, that's for sure. When you work on international relations and history from 1945, you inevitably study the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Right now, it's complicated. Sometimes we even say to ourselves, maybe I'll assign this as homework because I don't want to face these problems in person. So there's an element of cowardice.
We obtained a confidential Interior Ministry memo written in August 2022. It raises concerns over the threat of attacks against teachers. Some of them were shared online and revealed names and addresses.
Some school staff are being criticised and even threatened on social networks. Behind this online campaign, the Islamist sphere is constantly attacking our secular values.
In videos posted online, some Muslim influencers give advice to teenagers on how to pray at school.
During break time, you can find at least 5 minutes to say your prayers.
Others talk about how to fight the ban on the abaya.
You can turn to lawyers to lodge a complaint because you're being banned from going to school. I believe there is a problem with secularism today. What's happening is serious.
Another teacher who spoke to us by phone says he's found himself in this kind of situation. He tried to find a way out of it, but failed.
I was being harassed by students. Several girls came up to me and said, "You're a racist, an Islamophobe." And one of them even threatened me, saying, "What are you waiting for? My father to threaten you so you'll stop making remarks about our clothes?" I've been through hell. Teachers are now living in fear.
Such incidents, considered violations of France's secular laws, often go unnoticed. Indeed, not all of them are reported.
The first reason is they think they've solved the problem, and the second is fear of reporting it, for their career and reputation. And we have to start by reassuring them, giving them the certainty that if they have courage in their classroom, they'll be supported by their school.
According to the Education Ministry, last year there were nearly 400 violations of the laws on secularism in schools every month.